I presume you're a registered voter?
I am.
Do you sign 4 papers? Or, please.
Hello. Tim. Tamika.
Hi, Cleve.
We're still waiting to get a quorum.
Yeah, don't worry
No
about
quorum?
precinct. I
Yeah.
can't ever remember which
Oh,
one.
Trying to park in that lot out there. It's impossible. They didn't clean it.
Where are they gonna put it? That's the big $64 question.
I'll tell you what. We get snowbanks in my parking lots. This is this high here.
And we're getting 1 to 3 tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
So we need more snow.
Can we not have a delay or a
Oh my
snow day
God.
tomorrow?
I need my kids to go back to school. I love them, but
You guys had them off for a week.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
it's been a long.
it's been a lot. Even my
Long
son
time.
said, "Mom, I want to go back to school." That's when you know it's bad. He said, "I'm over it."
Worcester's deciding, I saw that, thank you. I saw Worcester was deciding if they're gonna call it or not today. For tomorrow, I'm going like, holy crap, 3 days in a row.
Ooh, trying to clean it up.
Sure.
Yeah, he doesn't want me signing it.
I don't care. I got 4 of them.
My son's back.
That's great to hear,
I'm so happy. I can't.
out of that shithole called Africa.
Yeah, he was in Mogadishu.
Yeah, I've seen that movie, it didn't work out well for anybody. Except the idiots with, too many AK-47s. It was one of those movies that, stuck with you, Black Hawk Down.
You know. What the hell are you running for anyway?
Everything.
I guess
Decide what I want to pick at the end of the party. I'll turn them all in and see what happens.
Vote for one, Tim, vote for one.
Thanks. Is that in the packet? Because I'm not seeing this complaint, so I'd like to
Yeah.
read it.
It's there.
Oh, okay.
Sticky away.
Hi, Thaddeus.
Figured he was gone down by now.
My apologies. For being late.
Here's your packet.
I just- Sit. Good boy.
Getting bigger.
What's that?
He's getting bigger.
He shouldn't be, he's 5. Sit down. He's
Okay,
getting bigger than, he's got a health problem, I'm feeding him too much.
okay, it is 6:37, we call to order the February 24th meeting of the planning board. And we have Heather here for a short amount of time. So unless there's an objection, I'm gonna take our agenda out of order so that she can be here for the things that are most concerning her. So I think we'll skip meeting minutes for right now and go to discussion of the town planner position. And I guess, I don't know, Heather, can you hear us?
I sure can, and I apologize that I have to be brief. I've got the school budget meeting in Holden this evening, so that's where I'm rushing off to.
Okay.
I would much rather spend the evening with your meeting, to be honest.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so do you have anything in terms of updates from your side?
I don't have any updates. I was under the impression that this was a carry forward agenda item from your last meeting and that it was something that you all wanted to discuss.
Okay, so, Tim, Alex, anybody?
Read over the description that Tamika sent us, and I still, this is my opinion, that the amount of work that's in that description of job is not a 32-hour week. And yes, we did approve it, and I apologize. When I looked it over, I didn't remember seeing that. I remember reviewing the description of the planner, making sure that everything was in there that we desired. And at least from our perspective, and of course there's more with with the economic development and the RDIC, but I truly believe that position's a 40-hour-a-week job. That's basically how I view it, is that planner we're gonna need for 40 hours. That's it.
Yeah, and I'll just continue to acknowledge that I would absolutely love to have a 40-hour planner. I'd love to have a 40-hour HR person, and I'd love to have a 40-hour engineer. This town is certainly busy enough to accommodate all three of those positions. And I just ask that you all appreciate the fact that I joined your community on January 5th and was informed the following day that you have a $3.1 million deficit in your operational budget. So I'm doing the best I can.
Well, I would, I do agree that it is a big job. There are a lot of hours that go into that. Right now, personally, I don't think I'm willing to pitch that battle because there is so much ahead of us in terms of needing an override and everything like that in order to pay for these positions going forward. And truthfully, I think if we were to approve for an actual town planner, an interim town planner, I highly question whether the person who's going to be willing to come in for 2 months into a town that has already had 5 town planners in the last 6 or 7 years and everything else on our track record, whether they'd really be worth what we're going to be paying them. I don't think that going for a town planner right now is the right move. I think waiting for a little bit till we have a long-term job in there where we can attract either young talent or somebody who's willing to take on a challenge, as opposed to just anyone who's willing to accept the job. Those are my thoughts.
How far have you guys gotten? You've talked about,
Just opened.
just
opened,
opened,
yep.
but,
We moved this right to the front.
oh, okay.
Minutes and nothing.
I mean, I believe that it would be, the idea is the fiscal year's coming up, so it's, if we don't budget for it, we go without someone for a full year. Is that a way to interpret?
So it's budgeted. Should the town be successful in achieving an override at a minimum of the $3.1 million, the town planner's position is funded for 32 hours.
Okay.
For FY27 and beyond. Should we not be successful, I think that's where things get a little dicey because it does drop down to a 12-hour a week position, which is clearly too little. you would certainly not be able to recruit at that level. It would become a shared position with another community at that point.
If the increase doesn't pass, will we also lose Tamika from our meetings and all the work that she does for us?
Tamika's position would be reduced, yes. How her time would be spent, how the remaining hours would be spent between all of the boards and committees that she supports, we would need to determine that. I would keep in mind that a failure to achieve an override also, we are facing 5 firefighters, 4 police officers, and 4 DPW people as well. So certainly we're not targeting the town planner position as the only service loss, and there's another 8 positions within the remaining departments. So it's a failure to achieve an override certainly impacts more than that planner position. But yes, there would be an impact to the support that the planning board has.
Thank you.
I'm just,
Yes.
I'm just looking a little bit, ahead, assuming, let's say, yes, the override does pass.
Yes, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Now,
Not me.
now the thing is, we don't presently have that job advertised.
We did for
We
a
did, but we don't now. So.
We do not now.
So, assuming, let's say come June and let's say things do work out, why can we not then re-advertise that job as a 40-hour-a-week job?
Because it's budgeted for a 32-hour, the amount of financial resources that we can allocate towards that position is 32.
Do we throw in 8 hours from our, we've done it before. From our,
I mean, they're not gonna rework the entire town budget just so that we can get another.
no, they don't have to. We have
That's
a-
what, yeah, I think that's our only option.
So,
I mean, we can cross that bridge, but I know we've done it before, pulled from our
we have,
short-term revolving fund to cover what we need to cover.
You could look at it as if something, you can hold out for that use of money until like we get bogged down, then you can go, let's see if we can say there is someone working 32 hours, if, if a bunch of projects come in, then you could go for the extra 8 hours.
Well,
So we don't use it all up right away.
Well, the problem is the allocated budget, and I don't have the exact numbers, but I remember 66,000. That's gonna be next to impossible to get a quality planner for 66,000. That's my opinion,
At 32.
at 32.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
I don't, even to Alex's point, even a young kid, that's not, I mean, that's not a lot of money. It's basically $33 an hour.
Yeah, would,
Again, I'm not saying yes or no, I'm just throwing out numbers and my opinion, that's it. So,
Can I ask a question though?
yeah,
So the town's only open 32 hours a week. What the hell's, where's she gonna work? Are he gonna work for the other 8 hours? It doesn't make any sense.
They're
Just a
open on
question.
Fridays.
It's closed on Fridays,
They're
right?
open on Fridays, they work on
Some
Fridays, they're
people
not
work
open.
Fridays.
yeah, some of them, the
Oh.
buildings aren't open, I guess, but
They're doing a lot of like behind the scenes stuff.
yeah, so people can come in, it's just the fact that no public on Fridays. I think that's right, Heather, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
So we could have somebody in for 40 hours, Friday they would be working at their desk doing reviews, documents,
plus, they have to attend meetings.
that's true,
Yeah,
that's
and-
cost.
There's, sometimes it's 2 to 3 hours. If a planner's gonna attend, let's say, both planning board and subcommittee meetings.
Correct. And if there's a
Now
requirement,
you're basically, you're so close to
Yeah.
40 hours anyway.
and then if there's any economic development, with RDIC or anybody else, the request for that would be to come to meetings too, and they have once a month, that's not big, but that's 2 to 3 hours a meeting too.
I mean, yeah, but there's a lot of what ifs in that, and I think the
Oh, I get
biggest
it.
what if, the biggest hurdle right now is passing that override. And we can kinda cross those under the bridges, like you suggested, once we get there, including potentially using the revolving fund or what have you, but
I would, this is, again, my opinion, if we have only 12 hours, we might consider, because for $21,000, you're not getting anybody. And Heather made a point of sharing, so we could reach out to other towns. But I still go back to my potential solution of using a consultant for what we have to on topics that we need. So I'm not saying we have to, I'm just saying putting it out there.
Could you even hire into a firm for $64,000?
Now for $33 an hour, you're not gonna get it.
Well, say they have 20 clients and they're making millions of dollars and they can split up people and does that world exist out there, or is it just you gotta hire based off a town, someone employed? Like you said, a consulting firm at low hours, but even at 32 hours, could you get a?
I don't know.
It
I don't know if there's
could
any
be-
consulting planners. Most of them are engineers that are,
Yeah,
like
okay.
Kevin Quinn's company.
Yeah, like a civil.
Yeah, civil engineers. So
Okay.
I don't know if there is any. That was something we'd probably have to investigate. I don't know if somebody else does. That's great. I don't.
Yeah. Something to think about, I guess.
So I guess the answer is we're gonna hold off.
That's the way I see it anyway.
So what do we got? March, April, May, June. We got 4 months. All right. What do we do if something comes in that we can't handle? I think we should have a plan for that. Subdivision or, something that we need some research on. Okay,
always got ChatGPT.
Scramble.
all right,
I've never used it.
good enough. I just thought I'd throw that out there. All right,
Okay, anything more on that?
nope. I don't,
Okay, next topic is the open meeting law complaint, which is in your packet. Filed by, filed by Jennifer Ledger. And I don't think it's necessary that I read the whole thing. Or should I?
no, I read it in the packet, so.
It's up to you.
Okay. Okay. She basically, wrote 4 paragraphs in the complaint. And basically saying that, we discussed something that was not on our agenda. And she is contending that that is a violation of the open meeting law. And she's filing against both myself and against Tim Narwhal, not against the other planning board members. I'm contending that it is not a violation of the open meeting law, and my argument comes from the Attorney General's guide to the open meeting law. And I'm gonna read a paragraph that I think hits on it. It says, if a discussion topic is proposed after a meeting notice is posted, and it was not reasonably anticipated by the chair more than 48 hours before the meeting, the public body should update its posting to provide the public with as much notice as possible of what subjects will be discussed at the meeting. It says, although a public body may consider a topic that was not listed in the meeting notice if it was not anticipated, and that's the key right there, as far as I am concerned. I'm gonna read it again, that same part. Although a public body may consider a topic that was not listed in the meeting notice if it was not anticipated, the Attorney General strongly encourages the bodies to postpone the discussion and action on topics that are controversial and blah, blah, blah. So, they encourage us to not do things, but they don't say we can't. That's the way I read it. Anybody else wants to look at it and read for themselves, they can. So that's my response. Tim?
My discussion point after reading MGL and also that thing is that MGL's open meeting law specifically talks about boards and commissions that items are under their jurisdiction. And I guess I was asking questions about the planner that doesn't fall under the planning board's jurisdiction because we have no hiring control other than using him as a staff position. So yes, it wasn't on the agenda. I just was looking for an update of where the planner was in the hiring status, because at one point we'd gone out and advertised the position and had candidates come back in, but nothing had been fed back to the planning board on what status it was. So I was curious, and I apologize, the new town administrator was on the Zoom at the time, so I thought I would ask the questions trying to just get information. So that's why I agree, and I said it wasn't on the agenda, but since it wasn't under our jurisdiction, I just was gonna ask questions about, because I didn't know the town administrator was gonna be on, and when she was on, I thought it was an opportunity to ask questions and find out the status. So I did not consider it an open meeting law violation because the position of the town planner wasn't under our jurisdiction to make any decisions, any hiring, or anything like that. So that's sort of my take, and then of course I'll fall back on what the Attorney General's guideline said too. So I will acknowledge that we did decide after Tamika suggested putting it on this agenda, and we stopped any further discussion. And if I'm not mistaken, we did not have any motions taken or anything like that for that discussion. So I guess that's enough for me. I've said enough.
All right, I would say first off, I kind of agree with the complaint to an extent, kind of like Tim acknowledged, in that when we did start talking about it, there was a thought that, you know, this, maybe we shouldn't proceed. And truth be told, I personally think that we made a mistake, and my hands are completely dirty with that as well. And I acknowledge and apologize for that, and I would like to have more training on the actual laws of the meetings to try and control decorum and all that stuff. Whether or not a mistake was made or not, I think we can all acknowledge that perhaps we didn't act as best as we could in that situation. We could have acted a little differently without throwing too much blame, especially because we do know where this letter comes from, and that's kind of a touchy subject right there. But instead, I'd like to say that I fully am behind additional training, and also acknowledging where we can grow, because I think especially with all the litigious waters that are potentially ahead of us, with decisions that we've made and you know, the way that those are received, I think that we need to learn to follow the book and be fully transparent. Nothing can happen on the telephone. It's got to be an email. Whatever we do needs to be backed up by MGL, and then when the lawyers say this is correct, we listen to that advice. So I don't really focus so much on blame, but I do acknowledge, especially for me personally, that I think I made a mistake there, and I should have acted differently. But I would like to see us all work towards transparency together.
May I?
Clay?
Okay, so I took a look at the packet that Tamika had put in, and I asked my lawyer to opine on whether or not that was a violation of the meeting law. Lawyers know this stuff, okay? The open meeting law only requires that the meeting be noticed, and that the notice list topics that the chair reasonably anticipates will be discussed. The rule is not absolute. Things come up at meetings that can be discussed, even if not on the agenda. Bear in mind that the agenda is not part of the open meeting law. In the Linfield case, the select board voted to hire someone where the posting said only that there would be an update. The court was clear that there was no violation of the statute and the vote was lawful. And below is an excerpt from the case. Although listing an agenda topic as an update does not put the public on notice that a vote would take place, the statute only requires the agenda topics be reasonably anticipated. The outcome of the case could differ where the chair knew a vote would be taken but only listed the agenda topic. Finally, there's an excellent case out of land court dealing with discussions of matters are not on the agenda. It's a land court case. And further, the open meeting law requires that all meetings of government bodies shall be open to the public and any person shall be permitted to attend. The open meeting law does not, this is from a court case, the open meeting law does not, however, contain any provisions limiting what may transpire at a properly held open meeting, nor does it require strict adherence to any particular agenda. The point is, I believe Ms. Ledger is wrong. Nobody violated anything. That's like saying, you can't talk about what you want to talk about. This is an open meeting. It's open to the public. The agenda isn't even part of the open meeting law. She's way off base, in my attorney's opinion and in my opinion. You guys shouldn't be making excuses for what you did. You didn't do anything wrong. That's all I have to say.
If I may, I also happen to, we will have an email that I sent after this regarding the stone wall. And in that email, I addressed the way that these meetings are allowed to transpire, the tenor of them, and all of that. I'd like to state for the record that I don't believe, well, one, Clee is not a member of this board. Two, I don't believe that his lawyer's advice should at all be taken into consideration by us as legal counsel who is involved in actions against our town. Taking the advice of opposing legal counsel just does not seem, or even really addressing it, does not seem like something that we should be doing. It doesn't seem like a responsible path of action.
May I answer?
To the chair, I'd like to hear what Keith has to say.
Please.
And then Lauren, if you.
Yeah, I think it's not hard to make an open meeting law mistake or the whole contingency of the interpretation of open meeting law. So, I mean, this is one person's interpretation. They cite a topic. I would just say, when they say, so it says you gotta sign and affirm, is it just asking for you guys to sign and affirm, or is it every member of the board has to sign and affirm?
So I think she has to sign and affirm it. I mean, the box on page 2 about what the complainant requests,
Yeah.
I am new to all of this. I'm new to the various laws, but I actually think we've done all of those things. Acknowledge that we talked about an unposted topic, address this at a properly posted public meeting, which is now, I guess, repost the topic in question for a future meeting and encourage, training, which I think would be great. I would love to have some. So I'm going to be honest, I don't have an opinion on whether it was a violation or not, but I think that all of the things that she has asked are things we've either done or are reasonable and simple for us to do.
Yeah, I think as Norm said, and they advise it, this is a paraphrase, but they advise against, but they don't say that we can't do it. Sounds like a bit of a gray area, very open to interpretation, and whether the fault was ours or it was a mistake or what have you, in my own opinion, as someone who readily admits their faults, I could care less. I just want to learn from it moving forward. I don't think it's so much a blame thing, because like we said, it could have happened to anyone. It's very gray.
You know, my only other comment would be to just have town council confirm that this
That would be-
document happens to be.
Factual.
It settles, you know, cause it comes from management in a way.
Touche.
So, I mean, it would be good for everybody to just kind of say what is what. Just so cause obviously this becomes more official if it's not, looked at with two parties, I guess you could say. So that's all I would say.
What are anybody else's thoughts about town council?
I'm fine with it. Again, I agree with Lauren. I have no problem acknowledging 2, 3, and 4. It's just one that I don't agree with. I don't think there was a violation, but 2, 3, and 4, I agree with Alex and Lauren. I have no problem with, we've addressed the matter by posting it in a meeting. We've discussed it already for this. And I have no problem with some training, transparency, compliance, whatever they plan to do by the town. I'm fine with that.
And with budgetary constraints, training might be cheaper than going to town council, might cover the same bases.
I just know with the, and Heather, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the training portion of the future budget was not included even with the override, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't remember. Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, I got a hunch it's not.
If I may, there are some free trainings available out there through the Mass Municipal Association. Last year, I had actually put together a presentation of OML that I had presented at the Council on Aging, and now the clerk's office gives it to new members when they're sworn in. So if you'd like, I'm happy to email it to you, and it basically takes that really big guide from 2017 and it pares it down so that it's a little bit more palatable.
Please. Please send.
I guess my question is, if we use town council, I mean, I'm fine with that if we want to check with them, but when I asked Heather, this hasn't been, it was, right now, it's just with the town, it hasn't been filed with the AG.
Correct.
So, I guess before it gets filed with the AG, it wouldn't be, probably be a good idea to have town council look at it and just verify that, we're not wasting our money and time, because it will be resources, town resources, if it goes to the AG. There'll be a whole bunch of resources involved with that, so,
It sounds like it might not go that far if we do steps 1 through 4.
yeah.
And I have no problem with people standing on principle and saying, I do not believe this is a violation. I just caution to make sure that it's not ego, and that it's true. This is what I believe, and if that's the case, then by all means.
Okay, we don't want to be very, very careful here. Because if we contend that there is no violation, then remediation is off the board. Okay, the only reason there would be remediation is if it is found that there was a violation.
Okay,
I don't know that that's necessarily true. I mean, I work with people all the time in the courts where they do mental health treatment and then the court wipes out their violation. I don't necessarily think that additional training is any sort of an acknowledgement of wrongdoing.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying that, okay, if there is a violation, yes, then there has to be remediation. If it's found there is not a violation, there does not have to be remediation.
and that's why Norm,
Makes no sense.
to the chair, I guess this would be a discussion with Jen, is that, I don't have a problem doing some training, and we did put on future violation, but I have a hard time acknowledging that this was a violation. So I guess I'm saying that I'm open to getting, like Alex said, some additional training to make sure that I understand so we don't have to go through this again. But I have a hard time acknowledging personally, because of A, MGL with the justification, and B, what you read from the guide presented for the Attorney General. So I just believe, I don't think it was a violation, but I'm open to training. I am.
Can I ask a question? Ask her to prove it.
No, I-
Just ask her to prove it, that's all.
Through the chair, I don't think, I just want, if we went through our town council, just to review this and give comments back, I'm fine with that. With our meeting minutes from today, this evening, indicating what you'd read and what I'd said about the justification as part of the information.
As long as they're approving, I don't think that can be part of the process.
Prove it.
I don't think we want that as part of the process with the, we don't wanna create a contentious environment between our boards. I'd much rather see it as a, oh, thank you for your opinion, we differ on this, but I'm gonna take a hard look at this and do some training.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that this is, in my own opinion, meant to be Jen putting the screws to us and she's gonna like take us all out. Like I don't think this is that. I think it's more of a heads up, a warning, and let's try and all be better about this, in my own opinion.
I'm fine with that.
Now, we have to give a written response.
Within 30 days, if I remember correct.
So, what is that written response gonna be?
Well, is the written response, if it's filed with the AG, or is it, that's a struggle. Again, I'm not an attorney. I don't know if this wasn't filed with the AG and it's kept internal, could we put a memo, and I'm looking at Tamika to help out with the memo, through the chair, that we acknowledge that some further training's needed. We don't believe that there was a open meeting law violation, but we do acknowledge that maybe some more training could help all of us in the future, to Alex's point. I'm okay with that type of memo and see if the complainant, Jen, agrees with that.
I think the response does have to go to the Attorney General, even if the complaint didn't.
If the board does not respond, it automatically goes to the Attorney General in 30 days. The board has 14 days to provide a written response to the complainant, and then the complainant makes the decision of whether or not they'd like to forward it to the AG's office.
Can I ask when the 14-day clock starts ticking? Because it's dated the 13th.
I believe from the date of acknowledgement,
Okay.
So from the 13th?
from today. From the
Okay,
date
all
that
right,
you're
cool.
acknowledging it
All right.
publicly.
That would be my thought, is send a letter to Jen with what I just described, including our meeting minutes, discussion, and acknowledging that, again, this is me as one of the complainants, that I have no problem taking with the packet that Tamika has and using that as a training tool. I'll leave it up to the rest of the board if they want to use it or not, but that's my response.
Sounds good to me. So, Tamika, do you think you can devise such a memo?
I can, and I'll send a copy to the board.
Sorry, this is a small thing. January 27th, Tim, were you at that meeting? Did you miss a meeting in January?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. I thought for some reason you weren't at the meeting, that the town planner had been on the agenda, and then you asked at the following meeting to talk about it, but I can't find my minutes
I don't
from that
remember.
meeting
It's
now.
okay.
That is correct. So
Is that
Tim was
correct?
not at the meeting when the topic was
Okay.
initially
Oh,
discussed, which
okay.
was the
So I didn't even
January
know it was on.
27th.
So, yeah, so I guess, I need more familiarity with the laws, but I guess my small point there is that I think you were not at the meeting where it was on the agenda, so you were not present for that discussion, which is perhaps why the next meeting you were at, you brought it up, even though it wasn't on that agenda. Just
Just
putting that out in the,
So just another thing, on that January 27th meeting, we had a pretty thorough discussion about the planner, recall, okay? And, there's another thing, in this thing, and hey, fault me for my age, my memory, or whatever. But
That's a taser,
they
baby.
teasing each other out there?
Yeah, it's the police
It's like police
department.
training.
They're doing a training.
I was like, I've
This
heard
is
that
like-
before.
As long as I don't hear the
You
snap
don't hear
of
the
it.
or
Yeah.
don't tase me, bro.
Bro.
this paragraph starts out again, and I guess I'll take fault for this, but Says if a discussion topic is proposed after a meeting notice is posted and was not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Okay, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm referring back to that January 27th meeting. I thought we had a pretty thorough discussion. I thought we were done until we got some more input from the town administrator.
So
So
is it
I'm saying I didn't anticipate. And maybe that's incorrect, but.
I think Tim's memo addresses that ambiguity of maybe, maybe not. It seems pretty gray here. And, you know, let's move forward in the best way possible with training and, you know, thank you for the advice. Well, without that part.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, anything more? I don't think we need a motion for that memo, do we?
No. It's required, actually, if I'm not mistaken, Tamika, within 14 days.
Right.
So,
Okay. So, let's get back to our regular order of agenda, and that would be to minutes.
I had no issue with the minutes.
So before we get off that, the only thing, and Tamika, I don't, again, I'm like Lauren, I'm not sure about the law, but I'm named in this complaint, but I never got any notification. Was it just the board that needed notified? I don't know enough about open meeting law, or should I have been notified?
Typically, it goes through the town clerk's office.
Okay,
I'm not certain what happens to it when it goes out from there.
I
I don't know the answer to that.
would think that if they notified you in addition to this board meeting, that might make it kind of ambiguous as to when we were notified as a board, like when that time clock starts, if they had told you about it. At least that would be my
Yeah.
thinking.
it just, the only thing I was wondering is, yeah, okay, good enough, just.
But it would be
was
nice.
Yeah.
Like, what's,
knowing that I'm accused, or sort of like guilty until proven innocent, so that's,
Yeah, Tim, I'd recommend asking the clerk's office,
I'll
because
a-
they would know better than I would on
okay,
that one.
nope, I don't wanna put you on the spot, I can
No, yeah,
talk,
I just wanted
I'll
you
talk with Anita and Ben. I just, if I'm named in a complaint, I sort of would like to know. So, and I don't wanna put you on the spot, Norm, as the chairman, if you were, Norm, because then you're sort of going around the clerk's office, so I'll find out. Good enough, thanks.
Okay, meeting minutes, February 10th. Anybody, any questions, comments, or anything?
Everything I saw, the floodplain we've covered. Office furniture, I'm working on that. We're trying to find a way. Unfortunately, thanks to the snow apocalypses, trying to get some from Chelmsford is not easy.
Snowmageddon, please,
Yeah,
that's.
okay. Getting it here, it's actually pulled out of the office and waiting on a back dock for me to negotiate with Mr. Jordan to help me pick it up and get it over here. And then when that was gonna happen, I was gonna talk to Chris and see if I could have 2 strong backs help us get it off the trailer and into the office.
What do you need for help getting it with?
It's
with
pretty
Mr.
heavy.
Do you just need strong bodies? to
Oh, no,
off the loading dock?
getting it from Chelmsford to here is fine, but once we get it to the annex,
Yeah.
that's where I need the bodies, and I figure it's easier to use somebody that's on town, it's the word I'm looking for, insurance and all that stuff, than have one of us do it and have an issue.
Yep.
So that's why I was gonna coordinate with, if it's okay with the board, coordinate with Chris to see what we can do to get that in and get it in there, and then we'll have to figure out how we move the files that we have now into there so we can get it back to where the plans were all there, nice with all the subdivisions, and we can actually pull out and look if we have questions. Because I think with the 20 slots, we'll have more than enough space for what we have. That's it, that was the update, I just wanted to give quick on that one. So I don't have anything else. I'll motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Second. Oh, sorry, yeah.
That's okay.
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
Anyone can do it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next item, going kind of backwards here, tri-party agreement.
This just came in today,
It
didn't it?
just came in today.
Weeks ago.
No.
This is from our attorneys.
Oh, I was gonna say,
From town council, and, I'm not sure whether,
I'd like to push this, Norm, if it's okay with the board, because Tamika, I saw your email, I just didn't get a chance to digest any of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, in the paper copy I gave you, it summarizes the comments after each page where the little yellow,
cool.
yellow thing is.
yeah,
I had plenty of my own questions and everything on it, but I, like Tim said, I haven't had a chance to review what, KP Law had to say.
I'd really like to, if we could push this to the next meeting to,
Yeah, I think that's the most responsible thing to do.
can I make a comment?
Yeah.
So, each tri-party agreement is reviewed by KP. The last one was reviewed by KP, all the changes were incorporated. And this is the same exact wording that they approved on phase 3. Why? So do they wanna make a they and I or something now?
no, they actually, the one thing that jumped out at me, Clea, is it says the lot references appear to be incorrect. That bothered me a lot.
Lot references aren't incorrect.
Again, I haven't had a chance to delve into it, I looked over the comments, and that's the reason why, I wanna spend 20 minutes.
You know why she thinks they're incorrect? Because remember we did that big A&R plan for all those lots? We moved lot 77 over to the end of that big cul-de-sac. So lot 77 is on the end, that's why George hit me with the same questions. Because he didn't know where he was reading the original plan that was submitted. A lot of that stuff got changed when the DEP made us change.
I just wanna look it over. I mean, I know it's 2 weeks off, but I really just wanna,
Is it 2 weeks or is it more?
no, it's,
I know it's 2, cause it's a
Okay,
short
I
term.
have to start pulling permits, I got houses sold. And I can't pull a permit without that.
tri-party. I want to, because it just came in today. It might be a quick, everything's good. Will a copy of this go to Mr. Blair to review?
It's gotta go to
Comments from our
George.
attorney?
It's gotta go to George.
George, that's what I meant, yeah,
oh, yeah.
okay. Well, I think if George could digest this and with the next meeting, we could probably knock this thing out in a heartbeat and be done with it within 20 minutes. And then approve it, make a motion to approve and move on if there was no issues, but I really want to digest it.
Yeah, the only, there's a couple of things here, I'm not sure. I do not understand, as Clea has mentioned, where, virtually identical tri-party agreements have been reviewed by the town council, and the same town council, maybe a different lawyer, the same town council. Why this many
Comments?
changes, comments, questions?
Could be because we asked for a land, don't we always talk about wanting a land attorney, so maybe.
And the DEP stuff that just happened, I believe was just brought up. There could be anything that caused them to want to reword things.
I mean, there's a couple on
There's
there.
nothing to do with security. Basically what that does is just secure.
Can we take an intermission and go watch this?
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
I'm not trying to say that they're wrong or that they're doing anything, but I find it very interesting.
Thorough.
I just want to look it over, is all I want to do. And if these are moot comments,
I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you.
yeah, no, I'm not looking for any I'm just looking, I like
Like this.
George to take it,
This one on the end is just like, can you make that legible?
yeah,
I
stuff
mean,
like that.
If we have questions, are we allowed to ask the questions in an email to Tamika, or is there a way to have KP Law here to answer our questions? That if we digest it, and then we still have questions,
Could go on.
I know that you're looking to expedite this process, shouldn't we have somebody to answer those questions? I'm not trying to hem you up.
No, Alex, that's a
Yeah,
great
and
thing. Should we have KP online next meeting just to answer anything? That's a great
I mean,
point.
there's a couple of language insertion things or questions from them. I'm just wondering like, who makes those decisions?
And it does seem like if you're gonna correct some language, know all men right in the beginning would be kind of one of those things
Yeah.
that you would have updated
Not
by
a
now.
fan
It
of
sounds
that
like something
one,
I'd
but-
read in the big book.
That's probably, they made us change it from the last time. From phase 2 to phase 3, we changed it, then it's great, but, as far as having,
But-
the lawyers talk and they fix it, and then if she says it's fine, it's fine, or he, I don't know.
That's what I was
which-
gonna ask, cause I remember in the past,
That's all we've
the
ever done.
KP
Okay.
and George Carizzi, basically, once they got this, they went back and forth.
And
And then
here,
we came up with a final copy of what the tri-party was, so I would really encourage us, A, to look it over, and B, and I'm sure this has been sent to Clea and/or, okay,
I haven't seen it.
No, not yet, I apologize, it came in at the very end of the day. And so I
great.
just was able to print it off for the board
Yeah, I
before
mean,
the end of the day.
what George will do is he'll send a Word copy to your attorney, and she'll make, or he will make all the changes that they want, and they'll just fight about it, and then when it's done, he'll just print the new one off, and she approves it,
Well,
and it's done. That's usually the way,
that's what I'd like to see happen.
That's
That's
fine,
why I
yeah.
want the other lawyers to be
Yeah.
able, like, we can say what our concerns are, and then you will say what your concerns are, and the two sides can kind of figure out a middle that,
It's basically a
Works.
legal document, I don't think it's more, it's as much of a.
I'm fine with that. I would say,
It's,
Is the board comfortable if I connect Attorney Stein with Attorney Carizzi and have them
Yes.
work on it over the next couple of weeks?
oh, yeah, you know,
Okay.
definitely, because one of the things that I noticed in the attorney's email, he stated that this was just kind of a quick run-through of things, it wasn't a final assessment.
Yes, they, I had sent it to him a couple weeks ago when Cleese gave it to me. And because of vacations, they were just able to get to it, but they were trying to get us something, cause I had asked them if we could have something for tonight's meeting. So I think they were trying to give us something to work with. But I can certainly send it back and have George and Attorney Stein work through
I
it.
and
would,
would we be able to send questions to you to give to the lawyers?
If the board is comfortable with that, yeah, you could.
Okay, yeah, that would,
I'm
I
fine.
feel like for time purposes, that would make it easier instead of all of us asking all of our questions in 2 weeks and then them wanting to figure it all out.
I think it would be helpful if we could set like a deadline of when you're gonna submit those questions, and then I will submit them all in one email to town council so that they can then
Friday,
take it from there. If that's fair, if the board thinks that they
Or-
could do it by then.
that gives people 3 days. Thursday might be too much of a crunch.
that makes it, that's a little out of the ordinary. I don't think the board's ever questioned, it's a legal document, I don't know, I mean, I don't know the legalese to it, but, I mean, that's fine if you wanna do that, but I don't know what you're gonna ask, that's all. It's usually between the two lawyers, I don't even know what to ask.
I'm fine with that Friday deadline, because I truly believe, if I remember in the past, it's usually not just George, but whoever, if Julian had an attorney, or if Jim Susi, their attorneys always worked out these tri-parties between our legal counsel and their legal
Yeah.
counsel, so I'm fine with that.
And some of my questions I don't think are gonna have really any tangible impact on this agreement, I just need a couple things explained.
Yeah, and I don't, as long, and again, I'm skirting what I know about open meeting law, but as long as the board doesn't talk about the questions,
I just
we're
wanted
okay.
to, yeah.
We can send questions in to Tamika and they can be distributed to other parties as long as we don't deliberate. That's what I was looking for, about the questions, we're fine. So I'm fine with that.
Okay,
Get this to George and
get it, yep, get it
I
to
get
George and
questions
get it.
into Tamika by Friday.
Okay,
My main man, Kevin.
okay, active subdivision reports, just where it is. Yeah. So, we've got Brittenell Estates. That's two.
Bryce Lemon and Hilltop, that's it.
Brittenell, if I may, we just cut the trees on phase 3, I don't know if you guys were
Yeah.
told that.
Been seeing the logging trucks go by my house.
Okay, so can we talk about that for a second? Logging trucks. We ran into this issue last year. It wasn't logging trucks. It was the work being done to extend the sewer. We are just getting into when the road is gonna thaw and all that, so I obviously have concerns about the damage that those logging trucks are going to do to the road. And then my other concern is with all the snow that we have had, that is not, I mean, it never really has been a true 2-lane road, not even close, but it's barely a car and a half right now. And I would contend that any logging trucks coming from Grizzly should take a left onto Brent Knoll and go down to Palmagussit, because if they take a right and run into a school bus, you're gonna have a real big issue where neither of them is gonna be able to go anywhere.
So we, of course, told the DPW that we were doing that. And,
Okay.
I don't know if it was a DPW or someone told us that we couldn't take a right because we'd tear the wires down. They're near that barn there. So
Oh,
those
those
wires that go like this. So I believe that, by the way, all the logs are gone.
Okay.
But I think if Norm saw him going by his house, they took a left.
Right, I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, no, and somebody told us that we couldn't go down the other way because it would rip those wires down if they did.
So you came back out on Palmagussit.
I came out that way, I had to, yeah.
I saw one of the trucks coming out when I was working at home, so I do know that they were following what Chris had said, that all construction goes in and out of Palmagussit.
I obviously I live on that road and I have a lot of friends and neighbors on that road who talk to me frequently that were very concerned. And that was one of my biggest things with all the snow. And I've watched buses go, because my office is right by that window, have difficulty with cars, let alone I've seen, the giant low beds take down those 10-foot wide pivoting dump trucks in the middle and have huge issues with the other cars, let alone if you ran into something big like a school bus. And we already have missed quite a bit of snow.
My only comment would be, just as a professional driver, as they say, if I saw another car coming down the road, I'm gonna just speak generally, not gonna speak to anyone who's in a truck, happens to be doing that job of work. If I saw another car coming at me, I'm gonna slow down, and then we have to make eye contact and decide, are you gonna pull off to the road, or are you gonna back up? Am I just gonna stop and wait? So hopefully those things happen between, at least the professional driver, in this case, a tree driver, a low bed, guy delivering an excavator, or any of that stuff. I would hope it wouldn't be like a, not to make a joke.
Standoff,
Joke, but yeah, what's that,
Mexican standoff.
maximum overdrive type of situation where,
Yeah.
you just. the
I
truck's
can
gonna
tell you,
come to
people
hurt
drive
you.
crazy on that road, but that's between them and the giant truck that's coming at them.
Yeah.
But the issue that I would worry about
Safety.
would be that school bus not being able to back up, and then obviously that giant tractor trailer is not gonna back up the entire road.
They can,
and I just wanna
whether
avoid
they
it.
want to.
They can, but then people come behind them, and then
Oh,
that
yeah.
becomes a whole
Yeah, and you
issue.
gotta, not every guy's gonna come with someone in the passenger seat to come out and do
I think for,
flagging, but, mainly like you said, you can't take certain turns, because you're gonna rip wires down.
Yep.
You're not actually gonna make the turn, and you're gonna dump trees too, probably, if you hit that, I think that's.
Soft snow on the side and everything, oh yeah.
It's a challenge. I mean, the most you could do is, if we know more truck traffic's coming through building, we can, put letters out somehow or
I think Chris
put a
has to be the
post
one.
out.
Chris is the
Yeah.
one that should be it's his roads.
He's on me, believe me.
Okay.
Chris is on top. We made him aware of everything.
As
like
long as
this.
they're town roads, he's really the one responsible. It doesn't really fall into our.
No.
That answers my
consideration.
questions. I mean, I obviously I hate to see deforestation, but I'm glad that all that happened before all the snow came and narrowed the road and made it really difficult.
Bryce Lemon.
So on that Bryce Lemon one, I read, Kevin said that we haven't filed for a definitive subdivision change or something to that effect.
says developer has not formally submitted proposed revision to the definitive plan for the culvert material used in the crossing.
Yeah, so that, we discussed that at a meeting, and I may have this a little bit wrong, but you guys asked me to send you the drawings for the culvert, which I sent, and you asked for an as-built, and I sent it. Nobody said anything about filing for a definitive subdivision plan change. I don't know what he's talking about there, so.
We probably should make sure Kevin's got those documents, that's,
I sent them to Kevin as well.
okay.
Yeah, he's on the email. You
I
guys,
think we had discussed whether this was a minor or major. Did we discuss that? Mink, come here.
It's okay. Hey, buddy.
Mink, come.
He's saying, I smell kitty cat, it tastes like chicken.
back over here.
Exactly, chicken.
So, I mean, I don't think, I think maybe you were gonna discuss that after you looked at the as-built and saw if it, and maybe Kevin was getting, but he's saying that we had agreed on it. I do not recall, and I write that, all that stuff down, I do not recall having him say that at all.
Oh, he's saying submit a proposal revision to the definitive plan, not asking for the he's wanting, what he's saying is developers not formally submitted proposed revision to the definitive plan for culvert material use. So he's basically saying that, if I'm reading this right, he doesn't have the drawings, which, again, I'm not saying he does or doesn't, but if I read this right,
He sent them,
he
I've sent them
not
to him
formally
twice
submitted
now.
proposed revision to the definitive plan. So
I think I remember thinking that as well.
do we need to take that documents and have a formal revision approval process of that, since the culvert's different than the proposed one? I'm fine with that.
Well, and where do we sit with all that as far as our involvement with the state shutting it down, Concom, I believe,
I thought we were waiting for,
not wanting
we
something
were
to
waiting
happen?
for documents from them, from the DCR and DEP on basically giving us the blessing before we went any further.
Yes, so the Conservation Commission has issued the amended permit, and now it lies with the state.
Okay,
It might be helpful if somebody can pull up the meeting minutes from when we talked about those surety agreements. Maybe those will provide clarity on where you guys landed on that conversation with Kevin. Cause I remember him saying something about the board needing to take a vote to approve the plans.
the changes.
Yeah, something like that, but maybe those minutes will help. I think that was January 14th?
If you can let me know, because
13?
I'll do whatever you want me to do, but after that meeting, the day after the meeting, I sent all the documents, the plans that you guys asked for, and then I didn't hear anything. And then when he said that, I just looked at that today in the meeting packet, and I said, I don't know anything about that, so I just don't wanna leave anything unturned that I was supposed to do, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can straighten that out with Kevin and make sure that he has
Yeah,
that, because I'm
we'll
not
take it up
looking to
at the
have
next
you
meeting, yeah.
on some sort of a wild goose chase.
Surety request, multiple subdivisions, Woodside Avenue, Pioneer, Rice, 60 motion to Arrowhead, Lindsay, Grizzly, Phase 4, here we go.
After further discussion, the majority of the members agreed to issue the surety contingent upon receipt of the as-built and shop drawings for the culvert.
Which I said.
But it doesn't,
Receipt by us or by Kevin?
should be by us.
It
and we
just says
should-
receipt, but
They should come to us and then ultimately we
He sent
forward
it
them
to
to
the
Kevin
board,
if
too.
need be.
yeah, I mean, I think we,
I
Or
think
he
we
can
sent
send
it to the
both.
board,
Yeah,
and
he
we
can
sent it
send
to
them both.
Kevin.
Okay.
I did send them both, Kevin and you guys.
So maybe we need to ask Kevin, I guess we probably need to see Kevin an email, since the culvert is still in the same position relatively, but the design has changed, do we need to do a modification to the definitive plan for that, or is this just a field modification to the device? That's what I need to know.
More of a legal question,
That's
isn't it?
our call.
That's ours?
Yeah, it's your call.
Okay. Well, I think we need to put it on the topic since it's not on this agenda item. I'm not getting in trouble anymore. I think we should put it on the next board meeting to cover it.
Yeah, Probably.
And I don't know if there's any way for us to get any sort of advice or counsel on that, but that seems like that might be one of those very important gray areas where a town
McKinnon
planner
here.
would be very helpful, but
Yeah.
obviously that ship has sailed. But what can we do to make sure that we, nail it?
I would, with Kevin's experience, I'd probably have him
Okay.
here during that meeting for advice, cause he works outside of Rutland with other towns, so I would take his advice on, what's your opinion? Should we just basically do a field modification or a minor modification and vote on it, and then insert that into the definitive plan? So when we go to as-built, that it's there, sitting there, how do I say this? When we go to any type of road acceptance, that document's there, is what I'm getting at. Trying to make sure I's dotted, T's crossed, cause I don't wanna go through what we went through last time around.
I just wanted to bring that up because I saw it and I don't know what he means by that, so. By next meeting, if you let me know what you want me to do, I will be happy to do it.
But we should probably check with Kevin and make sure he's got those documents.
And that would all have to happen the Thursday before next meeting, is that correct? All that would have to be in if we needed anything submitted?
Yes.
Okay.
You'd have to, I mean.
I just wanna make sure that they're all,
If I'm not mistaken, if it's considered a major modification, you have to hold a public hearing.
Oh, yeah, you're correct, Mickey.
Alright, so I'll reach out to Kevin and get his clarification and his feedback
Yep,
on
and
that.
make sure he's got the drawings.
Yeah, I'm confident he did, cause I remember seeing it, so
I
I
just
think he
wanna
has
dot
it,
the i's
but-
and cross the t's, baby.
He got the as-built, he even got the certification from, Mike, Maroney.
Okay.
I sent that to all you guys.
Yeah, I remember that, cause Mike had the documentation as a structural engineer approving it, so I was fine with that, that's sort of the main thing I was looking for.
So Tamika, are you gonna check with Kevin?
I am,
You will?
yep, I'll
Okay.
take care of it.
Okay.
thank you.
I know these are Kevin's comments, but I know, I mentioned it last meeting or a meeting before, just with, I think it's Brittenell Estates, is that, Mr. Williams had brought up this over several meetings, just to maybe keep you in the loop or ask you if there's any plan for that, is that, walkway that's gonna bring you to,
Off the cul-de-sac.
Connection,
that brings you to, the rail
Rail
trail?
trail.
It's done.
Okay, it is there,
What
okay,
it is, the way it works is,
yeah,
it goes, there's an easement across lot 29. And then it goes down to the detention pond, and on the top of the detention pond is a walkway. You walk, and it takes you right to the rail trail. So that is pretty much already set.
The easement's there for anybody to walk through.
Yeah, is there a way to come look at it?
Of course, go look at it.
is it, are you talking about Bryce Lemon or?
I'm
No, no.
talking about,
Brittenell Estates.
Brittenell, okay.
Right.
It's at the end of that
Prison, right?
I
cul-de-sac.
don't know if you could do it now, it's kinda covered in
Yeah,
snow.
yeah.
We didn't bring snowshoes.
So you can see where like a trail is cut or what have you.
Well, it's not cut, it's just, the detention pond's all made, and then on the top of the detention pond is a 10-foot wide rim around it. You walk down that rim, and it walks right to the rail trail. It goes right to the rail trail. It's
Essentially,
wide open.
it's that close, okay.
This is off of, this is in Bear Hill?
Quail Run.
Okay, alright, off the back there at the top.
Yeah.
I got you, okay.
Almost to the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yep, alright.
There's a big pile of dirt, you go down there, and it's on there. Yeah,
Is it-
Dickie's been on my ass about that for a long
Yeah.
time.
2
Is that
years,
just,
Yeah,
2 years.
is it like an actual walking path, or you just said you cleared trees, or like?
Well,
you
it's
put
cleared up the top,
grindings,
and then it's not, no, we didn't put any grindings on it.
like
or anything like
compacted or
that.
anything, okay,
At the
just
top of
curious.
It's definitely a connection.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think that's
people
the way
can-
we,
Maintain
It's a
it.
walking trail, it's a dirt, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Natural dirt walking trail.
Okay, yeah, just curious.
That's
if
what
we
Dick was
had-
looking for, cause before it was, what's that,
not saying
undergrowth?
paved, but, yeah.
No, that undergrowth, what is,
weeds.
no, what's that invasive,
Knotweed?
Multiflora,
keep going.
pick your
Starts with a Q.
poison. Q.
No, maybe I'm not, I can't think of it. It's the invasive
This-
brush.
But it should essentially be
Anyhow,
a.
that stuff was covering you anywhere, and Dick wanted you to clear that out, and you did.
Yeah.
And that gives access, so that's.
Path with like grasses, but unobstructed.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what he was looking
My
for,
5-year-old should be able to walk down.
correct. Not now, but get rid of that snow.
Right,
Snowshoe.
right.
So say, do you have
I don't think
five?
snowshoes are gonna
No,
get through
3
that
to
stuff.
7, I just averaged it, I don't know why.
Sure.
Okay, you done on that?
Yep, Hills Top,
Okay.
that was all the,
Okay, stonewall violation is next up. And we have a correspondence in your packet from Mr. Blair. And we were also, just handed this, which is plot plan for the
Yep.
particular lot where the stone wall is.
and pictures.
I just want to note very, very quickly to you, this is not the plan that we signed as an AR.
No, this is the plot plan as of today, not the A and R.
No,
No, this is from 2004.
This is an existing conditions plan. Okay,
Oh,
the boundaries, distances, and all that sort of thing are exactly the same as the A and R plan. I went and checked it.
okay.
Okay, the surveyor's stamp and date, and the date on the plan is identical to the plan that we signed as an A and R. It's just that this is, I don't know how to describe it, it's a different version of the plan. An A and R plan, we do not require that they show things like wetlands, buffers,
Yeah,
and that sort of thing, okay? Or ground features. So, like I say, the plan is the same, but it's different. It's a different version. And at least for my money, to me, the plan very clearly shows where that stone wall is in relation to
property.
the property line.
So I just have a question about, we have more updated plans. We have one that's dated April 7th, 2025, but it also has a note that says reconstructed wall, so I'm guessing it's actually more recent than that, but the date didn't change. Because the wall hadn't been reconstructed at that point. Yeah.
Planning board required us to submit that plan.
I'm just wondering why the plan is dated April if the wall hadn't been built until after that. I'm just asking because on that one, the reconstructed wall is on the property line, and on the original one, it's behind it. So the wall moved forward in the process of
If
reconstructing?
it says April, then they didn't put the new date on it, because that plan
Okay.
wasn't done until September.
Okay,
of
yeah,
this year.
it's April 7th.
Up top, there's revisions up the top in the right-hand corner usually,
Oh, yeah, okay,
so that might be a different date.
you're right, yep. So in December, so the wall moved forward then in the reconstruction? It's not in the same spot?
No, it's not in the same spot. But the point is, it wasn't in the right-of-way to begin with. And I always thought that it was part of the regulation that if there was a stone wall there, you had to fix it, whether it was on my property or not. So we did put back a stone wall originally anyway, but we just didn't do it to the satisfaction of the historical commission or whoever it was. But it turns out that when I read that letter from the attorney said that it had to be in the right of way, I went, oh, well, it wasn't in the right of way. And I don't know if you guys know this, but on any historic road like that, when the town laid it out, they have to give it a length, or if it doesn't have a length, it goes from the face of the wall to the face of a wall. Normally, they say it would be 2 rods. In engineering, that's 16.5 feet. Like Main Street's 10-rod road, it used to be called, right? It's 165 feet wide. There's nothing on that on Brittenell Drive. It just goes from face of wall to face of wall. So it had to be on my property anyway.
Well, yeah, because you can't drive a car any further than whatever obstructs you from keeping you guttered into whatever, it happens to be a dirt road or whatever.
But the
You know,
walls,
it changes, like you're saying, you could
Right.
have a wide area, you could have a skinny area.
Yep.
And
It was explained to me by Chris from DPW that they have 20 or 10 feet to either side of the center of the road, I believe, was what the town owned. But either way, I guess I'm missing how the bylaw still was not violated. it was altered.
But
And
if it's not in the right of way,
It's not,
it's a
then
scenic
it's-
road on or a historic road or historic wall on a scenic road.
it's on my,
we can relook at it again, but I'm pretty sure that it has to be
On the right of way.
on the right of way. I was just looking at it.
That's what I was struggling with, because if it's on private property,
it's not within the right of way, it's,
and I actually was gonna ask Chris, because I've got stone walls that are outside the right of way on my property.
Yup.
So, can I do anything I want with those? Because
Right.
I assumed, now, Palmagustin's not a historical road. I get that, but I was like, can I do anything, or do I gotta talk to the town about that? Not that I'm gonna do anything right now, but my neighbor redid all of his he tore it all down and redid it. I don't know if he got a permit for that, I don't know what he did, but I haven't. I've left it in the condition that the farmers left it in back in the 1800s and early
But
1900s.
it begs the question of, what does that bylaw do if all those walls are outside of the right of way? And
Yeah, I
then
mean,
if KP
that's
Law
a
came
decent
to us and said, you can go forward with this, is this a different interpretation of that same law and potentially gray area, or what's?
I think their instructions were contingent on the fact that it was
In the right of way.
believed to be,
Okay.
at least by us at the time, to be in the right of way. The following activities within the boundaries of the right of way shall require written approval of the planning board. And that's where modification of stone walls comes under.
And if it's not in the right of way, Lauren, then I shouldn't say we, the bylaw has no authority.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
There's a
like somebody
section
to
that
tell me
says-
that.
there's a section that says changes which require approval. Okay, and that talks about, and it says changes which do not require approval. There's only two things under that. One is emergency work, and one is repair of a stone wall using natural stones and of similar appearance to the original wall does not require approval hereunder. But it wasn't repair. I mean, if you take it down, you can't claim that
Right.
you're repairing it. So I guess,
Well, it's over.
I'll be honest, it's not, like, if those are the only things that do not require approval, I just feel like maybe there's some things missing, but based on the way this is written, if it's not within the right of way, I wouldn't think that it was a violation. I guess my question is, and this is kind of for everyone, like, where was this drawing, like, 6 months ago? Like, and I don't mean, I don't know where to find things like this, and I don't know if this was hard to find, but
Well, we're
it just
learning
seems
from it.
like,
Seems like.
you know,
I'm with Keith,
having-
this is a learning curve.
having pulled this up could have,
Solved a lot of time and effort,
yeah,
and maybe that'd help the historical commission understand too, their authority on the stone wall.
The thing is, it's something for us to maybe take a look at, where we are gonna be looking at our subdivision regulations.
yeah.
That possibly for an A and R, also do require an existing conditions
Yeah.
plot plan. Okay, then we have it on file and we say, oh yeah, hey, yeah, there's that thing there that we gotta pay attention to.
That would be a great thing to put under the site plan when we do it for a bylaw.
Mhm,
For
yeah.
all of the, because right now we're just doing site plan for subdivisions, we're not doing it for A and Rs, but when we do it for all, this would be a
Well-
definite possibility.
A and R is out of subdivision.
Yeah, I guess that would be in the subdivision regs, wouldn't it?
Well, it is.
yeah, no.
So that means that would require a site plan if there's an A and R inside of a site plan. I'm sorry, inside of a subdivision.
Mhm.
Okay.
We've put, if I may.
Yeah.
you know, We've put walls, and you've asked us to put walls in, and we've put them in. I mean, I didn't, look, when we took that wall out, first of all, I didn't even remember about the bylaw, but second of all, turns out that it was on my property, so I didn't create a violation, but we put it back and they approved what we did. Anyway, so I'm not gonna touch it, I'm gonna leave it, I mean, it looks good, you know, I'm not gonna pull the wall out of there. You know, if it's on your property, the town can't regulate it. So, and I didn't know that, I thought because it was a scenic road, that you could regulate the stone wall. So that's why I went along with it from the beginning. But
For
that
it-
existing conditions plan, I believe the Concom requires that, don't they?
An as-built.
The existing conditions are before they give you an approval. We did that for some board, I forgot which one, but it was done a long time ago.
Through the chair, before I pull back my motion for fine, I'd really like KP to say, yes, it's on, the property, the lot 9R, and it's not in the right of way. And at that point, I feel confident. I just don't want to pull back a motion without having some backup. I agree with everything that's been said here, and Lauren, I appreciate your help, but I just, before I pull back a motion that I've already put my neck out on, I really want to make sure I'm in the right.
So would the wall appear on our A and R? Whatever the plan is? No.
No.
Okay.
Site plan, we don't have a site plan regulation for that.
So this one that we have that's been updated is the proposed site plan one? That was specifically updated to now show the site of the reconstructed wall?
Correct.
And it was updated twice. Add reconstructed stone wall and then add additional reconstructed stone wall. Once in October, once in December.
Well, I guess I just wanna make sure that we're talking about the right thing, cause also in your email it says, this is in relation to the stone wall that was on the lot originally, not the one that the I Hate Cleve Blair and Think He Just Does Whatever He Wants Club had me redo. So
Yes.
the one that was redone is
Within the
different
right-
than the one that was
It's in a
originally?
it's in a different spot, yeah.
But we're talking about the replacement wall, not the original wall, is what you're saying.
That's
Okay.
that's why I just wanna make that clear.
Okay.
It's the original wall that we're talking about, not the one that I put in, cause the one that I put
Original
in.
wall, you're saying, was on your property, not in the right of way. Therefore, there was no violation that should have been issued for that, even though you took it down and you rebuilt it to what the Historical Society mentioned. Yes, it's rebuilt, it's not gonna get torn down, but there shouldn't be my motion that basically for $4,200 for
Changes
finding.
a lot, yeah.
So before I, since that was my motion, I guess I've got to pull it back with us, whoever seconded it. I want to make sure that KP is fine with what, like Lauren said, it's not in the right of way, it doesn't violate any historical commission. And then at that point, I am free and clear to pull that motion back. But I want somebody behind me before I just go and do it.
If I may, I don't know, that lawyers, wouldn't that be an engineer or surveyor's question, Tim?
I don't, that's what I'm looking for.
I mean,
Well, the law people did approve it in the beginning, so
Yeah, but they didn't have they didn't know that if they say it's not within the right of way, it has to be within the right of way, the law said that, right? I mean, I read that and that's where I came up with this. The law says, the KP law said it has to be within the right of way. If it's within the right of way, you can regulate it, if it's not, you can't. It's clearly not in the right of way.
Can I ask a question? If the stone wall is touching, like, what is in? Like, and I'm serious, like, again, this is,
That's a
whatever
good
legal is, like, there are parts of this stone wall that are on this line. Is that in, I just,
It's like a fence.
If it's behind the line, it's mine.
well, it's on the line.
I talked to two separate surveyors and they told me that that wall's on my property, so I don't know, whoever you wanna check with is fine with me, I got no problem. I know it is, I know it's on my property.
Is this Norm a Kevin Quinn question?
If you
I
can.
mean, he's an engineer, he's not
Yeah,
a surveyor, so
yeah.
that's the reason why I wanna put him in a situation to answer a question when he doesn't have a stamp for it.
I talked to Kevin, not specifically necessarily about whether this was on the police property or not, but I did talk to them about, okay, what would normally be called a right-of-way, on an antique road, okay, be it scenic or not. And basically, he said, there's no standard. That was his opinion, that there is no standard. And I don't know, we probably could somehow or other, we haven't now, we could probably define a right-of-way on these old roads if we wanted to. But it would have to become a bylaw. So
I would say that Lauren's comment does make me think about the intent of the bylaw, and maybe that means that we need to rewrite the bylaw or what have you. But with the issue of it touching the line or being behind the line, I don't think that the intent of the bylaw is to have a patchwork wall up and down the the road, depending on what touched the line, what was behind the line. And that might just be something that we cannot apply to this and have to tighten up going forward. But it does make me wonder about what was put into the law, the wording and all of that's why I
Right, I
would
mean,
like KP.
I have to imagine that the intent behind it was that on these scenic roads, the boundaries of the roads are marked by these historic, or at least old, stone walls, and the idea is that you want to preserve that. So I think if that was the intent of it, then it might need to be reworded to acknowledge that some of them might not be
Controllable by
on
bylaw.
this, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to reword it, but that, I mean, that's clearly the intent. The intent was not to say, we can regulate you here, but not here. The intent was that we want the stone walls.
But perhaps there was a lot of
There was ambiguity.
things done wrong, partial steps or what have you in that.
Lauren, a quick question. Don't the bylaws usually have a definition section, so wouldn't right of way been defined?
No, not in this one. I looked at
So
it.
I can answer that if you want.
No, I've been
By the
through
way-
Research?
I've been through this with Northborough already,
Okay.
with these older roads. And a lot of definition of the older 1800s and early 1900s was depending on where the wall was in relation to the right-of-way, it was face-to-face. But the wall itself was on the property of the owner, it was just the right-of-way was designed from face-to-face. So anything on the other side of that face is town right-of-way. The wall wasn't considered right-of-way.
So how do you do this scenic,
Exactly, so that was my problem in Northborough, and I ran into that, and it was an expensive legal discussion with Eversource's legal and with the town's legal, and we just ended up, we took care of it, is the best I can say, but I'm just telling you, was the definition that I got, and again, that's just one instance, that's my experience, was face-to-face, but the wall was the owner, so if the owner wanted to take down the wall, they could do it, but that stake point where that wall was from there to the other side of the road was the right-of-way. Now, the road, when you looked at that road in Northborough, the right-of-way was on one side, 12 feet, and on the other side, it was like 4 feet, and the road had moved around, so there was no, quote, center to the road, because it moved multiple places. That was the tough part for me, because I, being an engineer, I go to the center of the face-to-face and go, this is the center of the road. Then I look over and there's no road there. What the heck?
I would point out that I did some research on this because I wanted, when the town lays out the road, I think they laid that road out in the 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. They have to say at that time what the width of the road is. If they don't say that, then it goes to exactly.
And that's what happened north.
Face to face.
Yeah.
So, and we checked with Anita, it doesn't say that,
So it's face.
so it's face to face.
The thing is, the town didn't build the stone walls.
No, the farmers did. And wherever they put the wall is where they put the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, they were worried about El Cawo getting over wall. So, I mean, what's the board's contention? Because, again, it's my motion, I'll have to rescind it, but I want the board's,
I don't have a problem if you really want to send it to KP, but we're making them rich.
I'll leave it up to the board, because this drawing basically tells me that it's on individual property, but if the board thinks they want to do a double check, I'm fine with that. I want to make sure before I rescind it, and I forget who seconded it, I think it was Keith, no, it was Dick. No, it wasn't Dick. I think it was you, Mike.
Can I ask a question? Can you just clarify for me what you're looking for council to tell you? Are you looking for them to verify that yes, the stone wall is not in the right of way?
Correct, yes.
What if they say that's not their
Because-
purview? That's my only thought. I'm just wondering if council's gonna come back and say, that's for the board to decide.
I mean,
Well, that.
yeah, and I think also like,
Gives us
you know,
the ability
what is the wall? Again, looking at this map, sections of this at some point in time was probably continuous. It's not now, but some sections are clearly within that property line. Some sections touch it and some sections are, at least they're drawings of the stones, partially within the right of way. what constitutes the wall? You know what I mean? I know it's a ridiculous question.
No,
I
it's not,
just,
Lauren,
you know,
that's what I'm struggling with, because.
Is this section here, you know, part of the wall, in which case, part of it is in the right of way, but the exact, you know, whatever, 20 feet that got pulled down is not.
I was gonna add some comments, maybe they'd help, maybe they won't. You know, if you were generically not even to use this piece of paper, and I'm not gonna try to sound rude to the Historical Society, but say you don't have any, and you're just looking at a wall. I mean, in whoever owns the wall, or whoever thinks they own the wall, is their interpretation, well, you own from the backside of those stones into your yard, and those are our stones, you know, and no one knows kinda, but then you get into the definition of the center of the road. But really, my question is, when is a wall gonna be owned by the town? You know, at any point, is there really gonna be a wall that the town owns in a right of way? Because you're just gonna have to have unique dimensions, but that's only but that won't count if it's an old wall that they never use calculations, because it goes to this theory that it's whatever the max width of the road is, and if the wall stops the road, then that's the property line.
So are you asking if on any of the designated scenic roads in Rutland, the stone walls are actually within the right of way?
Well, that's the contention, is when,
'Cause I think that would
if
be
you're
the thing
dealing
to
with,
figure out.
well, yeah, if you're,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're dealing with roads that have never been calculated, do they now fall outside that? Now, say a road gets rebuilt, professionally engineered by maybe the state, not saying this road is a route, like a numbered road, but that would be the time where they would just define something like that. But I guess, I'm just curious if really you're gonna find a stone wall in town that the town owns in the end, you know,
Yeah, what I would ask
which is
for
just interesting.
from KP Law, like I walk that every day. And I know where the wall was. I've been past it for 2 years now. I can easily go out, measure, and hopefully be done with it all because it's well inside his property line. But I would like to know from KP Law exactly what constitutes, like, when it's touching the line, and is any of this enforceable whatsoever across the town, because I think that's a worthwhile investment. It'll save us time going forward. If that whole law is junk, and completely unenforceable, then we either need to institute something else or scrap it entirely. I'm more than willing to cop to the idea that I was misinformed, I was wrong, anything like that. But I'd like to know definitively going forward so that we don't waste our time and we can know, like, hey, this is what it is, you were wrong, you were right, whatever.
So is the question maybe to KP, is that bylaw enforceable on private properties, stone wall on a historical road?
I'd like, well, my question is, I know this sounds so like legal splitting hairs, but like, you know, how do you define in a wall being in the right of way? And I mean that literally, you know, if a wall is not contiguous but clearly used to be, if part of the wall is in the right of way, is the whole wall in the right of way? If the wall is touching the boundary of the right of way, is it in the right of way? Because that's my initial question, and then after we figure that out, if the answer is like there's really nothing in the right of ways, then I think we need to address the question of, well, what's the point of the bylaw if it's not enforceable?
Thing is, the origin of the bylaw is in Mass General laws. And if I'm not mistaken, 90% of the provisions that we have in it are also in the state law thing. So I am sure the state law mentions right of way as well.
I imagine they're more detailed.
No,
No.
Oh,
That's the
no?
other way around,
it's
no.
the other way around.
I'd also,
No.
I'd
Vague
love
is the
to
key component.
find out how you do theoretically in the future, protect those walls as a right to farm community that hopefully prides itself in that part of it, like keeping those farmer stone walls. I do think adds the aesthetic, the charm, the character, the history, all of that, but it doesn't work if you can't enforce it.
May I say something? So I didn't mean to interrupt. Will you
No,
finish?
please, yeah.
The point that it's a surveying question, okay? It's not really a legal question. There's only 2 scenic roads in town, if I'm not mistaken.
It's
Cecil.
like 6, maybe,
6.
7?
Oh, really? There's more than
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay, so if it's all about the layout of the road and the bounds. The roads where they're laid out, that's where you have to find out from Anita. It's the layout of the road. If they say, and normally on a scenic road, when they lay it out, they'll say it's 2 rods, like I said earlier. 16 and a half feet is a rod, so 33 feet would normally be the size of a scenic road. The right of way, not the actual pavement or dirt. But it's a surveyor's question, so if it's not laid out, then with a width, then it's face a wall to face a wall, and that means we own it. Now, I've checked with 2 different surveyors on that, and they both told me the same thing, and I didn't preface the question with, I'm in this situation, or I have this, how's it read? It's a surveyor's question. It's the only way to get an answer. Well, lawyer, George,
Give his opinion,
Didn't-
KP will give their opinion.
yeah,
And then-
but you need, like, Kevin Quinn uses my brother-in-law for a surveyor, Kevin Jarvis. He'd probably ask him. I asked him, and he told me that it's face a wall to face a wall if it's not laid out. The point is, if it's laid out, there's bounds and you know where everything is, but if it's not laid out with a width, then it's face a wall to face a wall.
I'm sure it was not.
It wasn't, we checked with Anita.
Cecil Lawn is the same way.
Oh, yeah, back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So,
But I think asking KP and figuring out if this is the case, how do we fix this going forward to actually live up to what the spirit of the bylaw is? I think it's worth
we
investigating.
can probably do that. But I don't, if that's what we're gonna ask, then I don't think that has any bearing on.
On this, yeah,
what we
that's
normally
what,
do.
I keep coming back to, like, I'm gonna have to rescind this,
Well, again, what is, like Lauren said, if it's touching in one part but not in another, is it considered a historic wall from lot line to lot line, or is it like only the pieces that touch that boundary line in between? Like,
and I need a surveyor to tell me that, not an attorney.
okay.
That's my opinion. I don't know what the rest of the board is, but I don't think attorney's gonna answer that question. I think we'd be wasting our time asking KP a question. I think it'd be more of a surveyor's question.
Definitely.
It almost seems like the whole scenario where you got 2 neighbors and they're fighting over who owns the
Be the
fence.
Hatfields and the McCoys.
You know, it's either clearly on it's either right on line or it's 1 foot in. And usually nowadays people build them 1 foot in, so there's no question. So if someone wants to modify it, they go, it's not on the line, it's a foot in. So even this wall, or any wall, like I said, if it's inside the line, to me, it's close. And, I think that ownership goes to, it would be no different than if the wall was, going the long way, and this person was like, I don't like it, and the other person says, keep it, and that.
You're gonna have a
that
hard
whole-
time in court, Keith, if 5% of the wall is on the line and the other 95's on the property.
Oh, you'd have to leave, some
How
stuff.
are you gonna?
But, yeah, and you'd have to say, hey,
10%.
I'll give you $500, give me those rocks. But that's and then you get the surveyor, and that would be the definitive, because now the other guy can't sue you for, hey, he's touching a wall, I don't want him to touch, because that's what
Yeah.
neighbors do sometimes, they go as far as they get lawyers and stuff. So, the surveyor definitely says, hey, you guys need to stop fighting, this is, they're almost the lawyer in terms of land, without being that other, a courtroom version of that story.
Do we spend our money wisely and ask Kevin to help us with this? Because we don't have any surveyors on retainer for the town that I know of. Somebody else? we've always gone through our engineering.
Well,
I mean, we got a surveyor's stamp right here, that's the key.
I was gonna say, what do we do, send them a copy of this
Yeah,
and say,
I think I'm still confused on what we're asking.
we'd be asking whether that stone wall is within the right of way or whether it's
on private
on private
property.
property. And I don't know, that seems to me, at this point, that's,
You guys are all able to read that, you know it's,
It's-
you know
I
it's
was
not.
gonna say, to me, it's
right
it
away.
would be a stupid question.
Well, that's why I just,
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why I'd like clarification as far as what is considered in the right of way. If it's touching, is it in the right of way? And then also a follow-up would be, with the rest of these walls going forward, does this mean that all of these are excluded from, this law essentially governs nothing? Cause I don't wanna chase my tail with anything for the next 10 years.
I guess just to clarify generically, if the road isn't measured, it's considered 2 rods no matter what, is that?
No, it's
or-
face to face.
It's face to face.
So obviously, whatever's on the other side of this, so what, for example, on the other side of this may not be a stone wall, so how does this center line shift? I think we briefly talked about it, but.
And I think that's where the clarification is needed, like even almost
Obviously, it's-
outside of this, when it's touching, what is it considered? Is any of this even enforceable?
Yeah.
Like, kind of defining that a little better, see if they have a read on that.
And a lot of times, Keith, it's up to the surveyor. Like Jim Calick, he probably put a 40-foot wide easement down there. You know, he drew the lots, because he drew the lots on both sides. My father owned both sides of the street there, and Jim did all his work. So he, you know, it's
he might have put a larger easement than what actually was.
what is actually there,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, an easement's different than right of way too,
No,
right? Or is it the same?
It can be the same thing. A right-of-way can be owned, or it can be an easement.
Okay.
An easement doesn't require approval from the planning board if because it's just an 81X.
Okay.
I guess I'm looking for the board, what do we do? Because to me, I'm looking, even if it's touching, if I had a magnifying glass, I'd say maybe the edge is touching, but it's still on the boundary.
Over here.
Right side, all the way to the left is
Oh,
touching.
yeah.
That's not in that, wait, no, yes, it is in that.
Yeah, it crosses over on the far right, it touches on the far left.
I mean, that's the only reason.
Yeah, it sounds
The only
really,
reason, if I was only looking at this, like, it's very, very clear, and that's why, again, I don't mean to sound ridiculous, but like, how are we defining wall?
yeah, and I
You know,
feel like
it's
we're
one of
gonna run
those-
into this a lot going forward.
Cause
Well,
this probably was contiguous, like, that probably is one wall. So, if it's over in one place, is it over in everywhere?
Well, and, the confusing thing is, even if you look at the 2 stones that are over the line, who wins? Who owns 51 and who owns 49? I mean, do we really wanna get into that? And, 'cause you just have to say like, you know.
Well, I'd
keep
like
the
something-
scenic- If you wanna rebuild the stone wall, we'd love to see it rebuilt. Or are you intending that? You know, I mean, it almost seems as if it's okay for the board to ever ask, you know, what will happen to a wall if historical wants to know. And if we're lucky that, you know, there'll be a decorative barrier in some way, either with these stones, not with these stones, with someone who wants to build a fence instead of a stone wall, you know.
I don't have a problem asking, I'm just struggling with this piece of property, fighting this battle.
Well, we're learning a lot.
as far as fighting the battle, I mean, wait till the end of the week, let me go out there and measure, and hopefully there's no battle to fight, and we just, I don't wanna say tuck tail, but we go, okay, my bad,
Yeah.
and figure out that part of it. But until then, I would like some clarity as to that sort of terminology, cause like Keith had alluded to, like, you could hope that people will do the right thing and come to the board and ask and collaborate, but I'd like a definitive definition on like, this is how this goes. This is the footprint, the blueprint for what we're supposed to be doing here so that we have consistency across the board.
I'm fine with that, but I think that's a question we should go through Kevin, who can use a surveyor to answer that question for us. I don't think KP is gonna be any use to us, I really don't. That's my opinion, I don't know what the rest of the board thinks. I think we should have Kevin say, here's, this is an example, and we wanna try to take this example and apply it to future walls. If the wall's partially on a border and partially in right of way, how do we rule on that? What's the thought process? I mean, if it's on the other side, it's a moot point.
Right.
If it's on like the middle part of this, where it's all on the property, that's a moot point. It's on personal property. But what happens when you've got a stone wall with our bylaw, halfway on property and halfway in right of way? As a surveyor, how does that play out?
Parts in, parts out, that,
Yeah.
yeah, I completely agree, but I don't personally know whether that should go to KP or.
No, I think you, my opinion is good
I have no
surveyor,
idea.
I don't know. Again,
I guess my only comment too would be, for example, you move the wall, didn't change the property line, but are people gonna start driving right up against this wall? Because it's now a gutter. How, I mean, are you, not to say you're not gonna establish grass and there's gonna be a way for people to tell. But for example, it is on a dirt road.
If you saw it, you'd know you couldn't do that. It goes like.
You got a bank in front of it or something.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, you look at it and you go, I would hate for someone to start driving close. Obviously, say two cars wanna,
the same thing like,
You know,
like
it's
with
like,
this
hey,
one
that's
down
mine.
here.
you know, cause
Alex,
you can't
you're the-
go in the, you can't drive in this at all
You
right
hit
now.
you hit the mailbox before you hit anything,
Well,
so.
that's what I'm saying, do people, you know.
And there's a lot, I've been up Brittenell
It's
enough that
interesting, but-
most of those stone walls are, even with four-wheel drive, you're not getting near them.
No.
Yeah, you gotta be a fool to get close to them anyway. So
So,
they're running water usually down the road. So
Yeah,
they're
and there's got-
worn and- Yeah,
I would just like for my,
Just curious.
to the board's opinion, just ask Kevin, and can we get a surveyor's knowledge that, you know, with our bylaw, with the, stone walls partially in, partially out, is it enforceable? If it isn't, then it's a moot point, then you're right, we're done. And, then I'll pull back my, motion from 2 or 3 meetings ago. And we'll just find out, I'll have to go back and look in the minutes to make who seconded it and have them pull their second, and then we'll just rescind it.
you know,
Okay.
a short comment would be, we probably would have to refund Mr. Blair. If we find him for something that's not enforceable.
I think the only thing that's refundable right now is the $300, if it's
Well,
not
that's what
mistaken.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, yeah.
Well, no, I get that, but when I say rescinded, I mean, there was I think my motion was for $4,200.
Yes, but at the end, you know,
The $300, I don't think we made a motion, I think that was just,
That
fine.
was Delia.
That was Delia,
They
yeah.
sending me a letter.
Yeah, so that wasn't a board, so that would be just a refundable, but that would be my suggestion. I don't know if you want a motion to send it to.
Yeah, might as well just solely.
I'll make a motion to send a question to Kevin Quinn to work with a surveyor to answer the historical stone wall bylaw if the stone wall is on boundaries, is it considered a historical commission, or is it considered the owner's stone wall for jurisdiction? I don't know what the hell I'm saying, do I?
A lot.
Oh, sorry, Tamika.
I
I was
don't think that
trying to be an engineer and trying to,
So I know what you guys are looking to ask, so if you wanna simplify the motion to just send the questions as discussed.
send the
Kevin
questions to,
Quinn.
yeah. Yeah, if Kevin wants to call me, he can, and I'll, engineer will talk. Kevin, this is what I'm trying to say, but I was trying to make it in common terms, it didn't work out.
Also, if I could just add one little thing before, did you make a motion? Like-
Yeah, I didn't make a
Oh,
motion.
I apologize, I thought you were.
Second?
Discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, when you did the fine, did you actually read the letter that they sent?
Yeah.
Cause there's, take a look at the way that they say that you have to find me. It's not even, it's not,
No, it does abide there, because there's two different stages to it. There's the initial infraction fine, and then we're supposed to tell you what you're supposed to do, and give you a timeline, and if you don't do it by that timeline, then additional fees can be, added each week. So that was the additional fee.
right, no, I got that, but
Okay.
first of all, they were incorrect, cause I did do work, and Delia sent them a letter, said that I didn't. But I did do work, but that just wasn't satisfactory work, and that's number one, but number two, there's a way that
Procedure.
KP Law says that you have to
There was
do
four
a
different
fine.
ways of doing it.
Four different ways to
Yeah.
read it, and I guarantee you, none of it was done that way.
I don't think
The whole
I
thing
don't think
is-
we've issued a letter for the fine request, have we?
No.
We gave notice that the board voted on it, but that we were
We
not
haven't
gonna
done anything
act
more
on
than
it.
that, if I'm not mistaken, so I don't think any of those fours have been invoked yet.
Yeah.
And I would like to rescind that if we're right, before we even get to that stage.
Yeah, and I'm telling you that it just.
Can I ask one question of you?
Of course.
How come you didn't just send this to us in like August?
Because I didn't, here's why, I said that up front.
Okay.
I didn't know that I wasn't required to fix the wall. I thought because there was a wall there, I had to fix it.
Well, didn't you read the bylaw too and see the
Course
fact
not.
that it's called out in the right of way? No, I mean, after the initial fine.
No,
wouldn't you have?
the only time I found it out was when you guys sent me that letter from KP Law. Otherwise, I mean, no one's had me put stone walls on that road where there wasn't stone walls I put. Like, I didn't know that I didn't have to do it, is the answer.
Okay,
We haven't,
just-
in the past one, we haven't followed, I shouldn't say we, the board for other, like towards Palmagussit where a lot of the walls are ripped out, those walls.
well, I guess
have
my
never-
question is, when you've got a thing saying you've been fined for an infraction against the scenic road bylaw for Stonewall, and you said, well, and wouldn't you have read the bylaw before you paid
No.
that first $300?
No, I just
No.
paid the fine for $300.
Okay.
I'm not gonna have my lawyer read it. But
Well, I mean you, I'm not saying.
Yeah, I know.
I know you know how to read, because you can
Yeah, but
write.
I mean, I always
Expressly.
was under the impression that because there was a stone wall there, I had to put it back. So by the way, when I took it down, I did put it back. Just, people weren't happy with it.
Yeah, I know, if we'd had this in like September, none of this would have happened, so it's unfortunate that we didn't.
Had I known,
It was a huge waste
If
of
anything,
effort.
this is a huge
in a lot of
learning
ways.
experience because with future building on Brittenell and Sassawana down the road that has walls, this is good to know because if that scenic bylaw, and again, I don't want it to be moot, but if it's a moot point, we need to look at,
We need
I
to
shouldn't say
figure-
we,
figure out
because I
what-
don't think that's a zoning bylaw, I think it's a general bylaw, if I remember right.
Yes,
It
it's
is.
general.
The general bylaw, which is Ms. Rushala's, Barbara Rushala's group, they were gonna have to seriously look at that and see what they need to do to fix it. So, that's just my comment, that's it. No, not telling anybody to do anything, I'm just saying that the general bylaw, so we don't have control over it. All right,
thank you, everyone.
Okay.
All right, good night.
thanks.
Okay, done with that.
All I'd ask, Norm, is we put this on the agenda for next week, for the next meeting. Next week.
Yeah.
Next week, yeah, sorry.
I don't think I've ever taken it off since it started.
I just wanted to put it on.
It's just a running
because-
item.
Running item.
If it's gonna be on the next one and Kevin comes back and goes, yeah, you guys are sort of in the wrong, I wanna get the rescission, I wanna get this thing done and get it off our platter. Get it off the freaking agenda.
All I can say is that helps us if something really big comes along. Like spending this much time on it.
Little stuff, yeah.
This kind of stuff. Last item is a street map, and do you have anything on that?
Norm, if I may, I put this on there at Dick's request. I reached out to CMRPC after our last meeting to see if we had any LPA hours left. we had 2 hours remaining. So I went over the changes with the town clerk's office and we sent them back to CMRPC. The only request from the clerk's office is that we did not color code private and public because that changes over time. They recommended doing an asterisk for scenic roads, which we did direct CMRPC to do. So for now, it's back with CMRPC with the exception of the color coding.
I understand that myself. Oh, I can't argue with the clerk, it's her call.
Yeah.
Says she
Disagree.
doesn't want color coding because it'll move around over time.
I mean, okay, I'm not gonna argue. That's fine.
Well, yeah, there is a possibility of a private road becoming public. Yeah,
Slim to
But
none,
there's
but
also the possibility of, I don't know, roads being abandoned or new roads being built or.
not in our lifetime. I'm not being smart, like, I'm being serious.
They get
Yeah.
expensive.
I mean, there's been private roads like Turkey Hill that's like 3 generations.
so.
No, I just mean that there could be multiple different kinds of changes, not just that are private and public,
Okay.
that would change, so, but whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
Do we need to take any action regarding the LPA hours?
No, because those were ones you had already allocated. You guys had allocated 5 additional hours a few weeks ago. So we're just using up the time that's remaining. If they come back and say they still need more time, I would bring that back to the board for your
Yeah.
approval.
Okay,
Tamika, what was that CMRPC email I saw that had to be done by February 27th? About,
oh, yeah.
That has to do with the housing, is that the one you're talking
Yeah.
about, the housing initiative?
is that, I know it wasn't on our agenda and I don't wanna talk about it, but it said it had to be finalized by the 27th, and I didn't know without a planner, who the heck does that?
I would talk to Heather about that. I
Okay.
think Heather's gonna take the lead on that. We were a little overwhelmed today because we weren't here yesterday, but we did see the email, so I would recommend following up with Heather as the CMRPC delegate for the planning board.
Okay. I was like, that is 4 days away.
Yeah, and we only just got it, I think, on Friday, maybe?
I think Monday.
Yeah, we
Just came
we
in and I'm
just
going-
got it.
I'm like, Gabe sent it and I'm going like,
In
Gabe, I
fairness,
can't act on this in 4 days from town government. It's
looking at
never
what
gonna
it
happen.
says, I don't think we meet any of the qualifications.
I was sort of the same way. I'm
Yeah,
going
looking at
like,
it quickly, I don't know that there's much
Soon as I
much
saw
to
the-
report back.
local transportation, I'm going, we got a bike lane.
Yeah.
Inclusive zoning, things like that,
Yeah.
I don't think we need any of them.
Yeah. I'll forward that to Heather and ask, I'll ask. Okay.
My only comment with the street map, not to sort of say it in a way is like, well, kick the can, but I mean, if something need to be changed, we would use LPA hours, a future board, any board. Say the clerk is saying we've got 8 revisions we need to do, we would resend this document back to CMRPC and they would edit it and we would get a revised document that would now become the next revision. Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, essentially,
It's a living document.
yes, okay.
I guess my question would be, does this deserve a place on our docket going forward? Like, should we keep discussing this as we go along? I know that we're taking a lot of time with other stuff and I don't know what we're looking to get out of this street map. I mean, I know Dick has a lot of thoughts on it and I'm happy to push. I don't wanna call it a pet project, cause everyone's got stuff that's really important to them and I have no problem with that.
Oh,
Like,
this is
that's-
for the town. I mean,
But-
we needed this forever.
So I'm just, that's my question, is how does acting or not acting on this going forward kind of affect us, either in the near or long term?
It's been years that we've been asking for this from the board and the fact that it's actually heading forward, I think we need to get this completed and across the finish line.
Yeah, the question is, where is that finish line? The planning board is charged with creating the official town map. Okay. How we go about designating this map as the official town map, I have no idea. I don't know if it's a vote, we might have to even go to town meeting, who knows?
And does this have to be ready for the master plan thing?
No.
No,
Okay. 'cause
this
I
was
knew
separate, this is separate. But that's a good question for Anita. Does this need to go to town meeting? Do we need to get it on a warrant article? Because warrants open and close in less than a month. March 6th or 19th is it close? 16th or
March
19th?
16th.
16th.
I'll ask Anita. I'll do a
Okay.
little research and see if it needs to go to town.
Part of it
meeting.
seems like we're speaking English and they're speaking Spanish. Like, we're asking for stuff and then they're giving us other stuff and then we're like, hey, that's not what we asked for, then we're, like,
It's
hey, I
this-
wanted a chicken sandwich, we get a cheeseburger, like, I don't know what progress we're making on it. It seems like we're doing a lot of, like, effort, but I don't know.
We're duplicating effort constantly.
I think the challenge is it's only as good as the information we give them. And I think that they're getting information from multiple sources, from Dick, from the town clerk's office. I think sometimes what Dick finds, the town clerk's office might not also see on their end. So there's been a lot of back and forth. And I think at some point we kind of just have to say, could we delve a little bit, keep going down the rabbit hole, or do we just call it and say, this is it, it's for planning purposes only?
Well, that's,
And it can be updated in the future.
Of
I guess
course, there's
that's
no limitation to that.
my question is, with all due respect and the utmost respect to Dick, can we have him sit down with like the clerk to kind of straighten this out? I know this is also a very passionate issue for him, and how do we kind of help the two sides work together to accomplish as much as we can with this, realizing that they might need to do a little, like Dick might want some more things, or we might want some more things, but we might not get everything that we want out of it, and where to call the line.
I'll
So,
negotiate, I promise.
If the,
I mean that as respectfully as possible.
I'm just, so Tamika said that, she's submitted the changes that he made on the map to CMRPC. So are we anticipating that the clerk would have other changes, or are we just waiting to
No,
get
so-
it back from them?
I did encourage Dick to work with the clerk's office. He did not necessarily want to have a back and forth with them, so he dropped off the big plan that he had left his comments on. They looked over those comments.
Okay.
They flagged the ones that were like, yep, that's right. They
Okay.
made a couple of more changes. Once I had everything from everybody, that's when I sent it back to CMRPC.
Excellent,
Because
okay.
I'm trying to maximize on those 2 hours,
Yeah.
because I think at some point the board has to decide how many LPA hours they want to continue to give to this project as well. So my hope is with the last 2 hours, Matt can wrap it up with a bow,
That's true.
and then I think maybe we just kind of say,
Got it
this is
far.
good,
Yeah.
you know? Because I imagine we could continue to go down
Don't let
tiny
perfect be the
rabbit
enemy of
hole.
good.
Yeah.
Right, so this should be essentially done when they make the
It
changes
should be, and I
that,
know that Dick had wanted it to go through public safety, but just to clarify, this is not a map that would be used by public safety. They have their own computer generated mapping that they use, so this really is just for planning purposes only, which there is that disclaimer on the map.
I would hope that the two would match, but that's
No.
silly me. The most important thing
Using
Yeah, I mean-
GPS or something.
for here, and this is more of a question to you, Norm. Can we get an update from our good friends in the Open Space Committee on where they're at? Because I really want that I want that master plan.
They're waiting on CMRPC.
I've heard that.
Melissa sent the update about a week or so ago that they're still waiting on CMRPC.
This is like when my wife and I are getting ready to leave the house and I just putter around getting little things done while she does the same exact thing, waiting for me to be ready to go, and both people are ready, but they're both waiting on each other. It's
It's just,
a little
my
dance.
tough to the board is, it's 2 years. It's approaching 2.5, and we have done our part of getting everything done. I just want to get this, because the biggest thing is, we can't execute that master plan until it's approved. And there's a whole section on executing it, putting together a committee, having people start following the recommendations that were in there. We can't do any of that, so we're sort of shortcutting the town's surveys, everything we did 2.5 years ago, trying to get it across the finish line.
It
That's where I'm
seems-
struggling.
Are there 3 members in this little group here, CMRPC, us, and then,
No, we're the final, we just can't approve it until we get an open space section in the master plan. And that's where we're dead in the water until we get that. We can't approve that master plan and have it, I guess, official until we get an open space section.
I just feel like an open discussion on like that whole, like, we're waiting on you, you're waiting on us, da-da-da, so that we can, instead of by email, everyone going like, and kind of pushing the buck a little bit, face to face sometimes causes you to really hammer it out and set some definite actionable items.
The only actionable we could do is get CMRPC to come in with a joint meeting of the planning board and the Concon and say, or the open, I'm sorry, I didn't mean the Concon, the open space committee and say, what's left? Is it the state that's holding you up? How do we fix that?
That's better than sitting here and
Yeah, I just-
hypothesizing.
I don't know, I want to get this across the finish line, because it isn't there.
We gotta go through the fire, no more dancing, let's get them in here and hash it out. So we can cross this thing off.
I'll send some
Yeah,
follow-ups.
that's a tough one.
Thank
See
you.
what I
Yeah.
can figure out. If I may, Norm, just a quick update for the board. For your next meeting on March 10th, there will be a public hearing for a special permit for a common driveway on Emerald Road. The hearing notice is on the website, it's in the paper as of today, and it went out to the abutters. And then on March 24th, you will have a public hearing for site plan review for the entrance sign to Harmony Place. The sign that they are proposing is outside what is allowed in zoning, so Harold has sent them to the planning board for site plan review.
Were we just here talking, well, I know we were just talking for the last 2
Our
months about,
property.
well, that and then also like signs and who controls the signs and.
Well, what's tough is if it gets damaged, are they gonna be like, what's on your property, you have to fix that? They're like, whoa, it's your sign.
Yeah,
And then it
Yeah.
becomes like I don't know. I'm sure it wouldn't get to that, but it's kind of funny how it's possible. I
do
guess.
wanna kinda tiptoe through the tulips a little bit, cause I don't wanna violate the laws or any MGL stuff. But I do recall in the past, some sort of an issue when I think I was an associate with buildings being too close to the lot line and they needed a variance for every single deck that they were putting in.
That was Harmony Place.
Okay.
ZBA gave it to them.
I guess just figuring out kinda, I don't know if it's us, but like
No,
where
we-
Harmony Place is.
We don't have any, HPDD, which is the quote planning board version of us, is in complete charge of Harmony Place. Chris Senecal is the chairman for that. Reason I'm telling you that is because I'm chairman of the RDIC, and then years ago that was handed over to the RDIC for control of anything within the RDIC for building. So they are the quote planning board, and I use that word loosely, but they're in charge of the engineering and the execution of Harmony Place.
So for, okay.
So we're
I don't know
really
why
just
that's
read in.
not us, but.
We're
We're sort of just read into it.
we're an information only. We have no authority over RDIC Harmony Place. Zero.
And Harmony Place falls under RDIC instead of us, even though it's a subdivision.
Inside of RDIC.
Oh, because of the area of the town. Okay, all right, good enough.
It's a over 55, so it's a senior housing project. It's really
That's
not.
why I want to move that thing along. Because no offense to seniors, but that's like free money for us. There's no
Okay.
kids associated with that.
Just for an update for the board, there's 10 sold, 10 more on contract, and they're working on 10 more. So they're starting to look at phase 2 because 44 sold was phase 1. Phase 2 starts after the 44. There's a whole 144 total.
And we're talking about, long term, bringing in commercial and all that kind of stuff. That 55 plus to the tune of however many unsold units we have is people
The
with
young lady up here
money to
put it
spend
on
in
the
in
information.
town, the commercial.
Didn't you, Mike, send you all that financial information? You got it on.
It's on the RDIC page.
Yep, it's on the RDIC page if you want to see the financials for what taxes and all that good stuff we brought in from that project.
As much as I might look like somebody who wants to look at financials, believe me,
Sorry.
that was a former life. Current
So
treasurer.
that subdivision kinda is built like any subdivision, they gotta sell 10 houses to build 10 houses. Is that- Or do you think they're supposed to really complete a
No,
phase?
just from the knowledge I have,
Yeah.
they would have been farther along. National Grid gave them
Still
a,
slow 'em down.
yeah, because they couldn't get power. They
Yeah.
couldn't put
No, I remember
transformers in to
that.
get power up there, so there were a lot of people that had signed up for houses that walked away.
I've
contract.
heard of that issue before when it comes especially into like storm season. they have to keep a certain number of like a certain supply of equipment.
Oh, this was worse, cause I was in the same boat, I was at Eversource, I couldn't get transformers for my job.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there was a nationwide shortage of 25 to 50 KVA transformers. And we were, unfortunately, since they're not made in America anymore, we have to wait for the overseas vendors to bring them to us.
It's a whole different ball of wax.
Yep, so,
I will entertain a motion,
so moved to
Yeah.
adjourn.
Second.
discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
We did.